Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Marvel Zombies unboxing. This is, of course, a zombie side game. This is the Kickstarter Stretch Goal box. So if you've been familiar with any CMON games or any zombie side games, there's a lot of stretch goals added every day. So as the funding goes up during the Kickstarter, more and more characters are unlocked, and we get more cool ones. We did see some, and if you've watched the previous videos, you had some that were specific towards the sets. Those were exclusive. If you bought that set during the Kickstarter, you got those exclusive figures. These were all the rest of them. So they all come together in a big box. So lots of these characters then are going to be, for the most part, are going to either be the zombie version of a living character we already had, or a living version of a zombie character. But there are plenty of brand new ones, some that have both living and zombie versions, some that only have one, just one version of the other. So you can see a bunch of the different characters on here. So this is definitely going to be a multi-part video. There are a lot of characters to go through. Here's the inside box that we get, so you can again see it's still pretty big. And there's 3 trays worth of figures. So in this video today, we are going to go through tray number 2 here, which actually has the bystanders on it. We get a bunch of new bystanders. Video 2 will probably go through the second bunch of heroes, as well as the heroes on this one today. And then the third video, we will go through the zombies. So yeah, we're going to jump in. I am going to do stuff a little bit differently than how I've done it in the previous videos. I'm going to show off the miniature for a character, and I'll put up their card, and I'll read through their card like I normally do, and we'll kind of talk about it. Most of these abilities I'm reading for the first time. But I'll also put up their spawn card at the same time, rather than holding the miniature up the entire time. Then that way we can see that right away. As opposed to in my other videos, I usually go through all the characters, and I do all the spawn cards at the end. I just want to do that at the same time, just because that way they're not getting lost later on trying to remember who's who. Because I'm going to be going through a lot more characters. Because those ones I was going through like 4 to 6 characters. Here I got like 20 plus characters to go through. Sorry, I don't want to take too much longer talking about this, but we're going to do the bystanders first. Alright, let me zoom my camera back down. Alright, I'm going to pop these off, and we're going to look at who we have for each bystander. Okay, I'm going to leave these up. What I'll do is I will just put their cards up right away for these guys, so we can see who they are. We're going to start with Ben Urich. Yeah, so the bystanders we got before, usually themed for whatever the set was. Yeah, these aren't going to... That's what I was worried about. They aren't going to focus if those are in there. So they sort of themed with what they were. So in the first set we had, the base game we had Avenger characters. We had a couple of different Avenger characters like Pepper Potts, and we had some Spider-Man characters, Spider-Man in there. So we got Mary Jane and Aunt May. We had Deadpool, so we got some of his allies. In the Hydra set, we got Hydra. Shield box set, we got Nick Fury. X-Men set, we got X-Men related characters. So this is going to kind of give us some of the more other ones. So here we got Ben Urich, who's kind of an all-around everybody character. He's a reporter. So he's on his phone doing his reporting. So yeah, we're going to get him. I want to say he's more associated with probably Spider-Man comic books. And maybe Daredevil. Like, in that realm, the street-level characters, more so than, like, the Avengers. Like, I don't think he really pops up in the Avengers or X-Men stuff too much. Although, saying that, he did play a big part in the big X-Men storyline, trying to reveal the mutant resurrection protocols. So, yes, he doesn't appear in them, just not common. Alright, so what does Ben do? I'm going to put both the zombie and the hero ones up at the same time, because they're usually pretty much the same. Alright, so we have each time an enemy moves into a zone with a bystander or another superhero, you may spend 1 power to perform 1 free move action. And then the zombie one's a little bit different, since each time a bystander is revealed or leaves a zone with a zombie hero, you may perform 1 free move action ignoring enemies. This is kind of neat because they're similar, but they're actually pretty different. So the hero one is each time an enemy moves into a zone with a bystander or a hero, you can spend one to have a move action. Maybe to help them out, jump quicker, do whatever, or get away if you're that character. The other one is each time a bystander, if your viewer leaves the zone, you may move. System's letting you move, trying to get closer to that bystander. That's kind of cool. Alright. Up next, we have Claire Temple. Who would be... I want to say this is... I'm going to... I can never remember if I have this. I believe this is right. This is Night Nurse. So she would be... oh yeah, I really hate this camera. It doesn't just focus. Like, if it catches any other little thing in there... So maybe I'm actually just do this and just zoom in on them a little bit. I don't like to zoom in too much because they're still not focusing. Yeah, so she is in like Daredevil stuff. Again, street level characters is kind of what we're getting. So yeah, so there she's holding her just medical pad and stuff. I'm gonna assume she probably has some sort of healing effect, being that she's a doctor. But let's take a look. I don't want to keep zooming in and out, so I don't like to do. Alright, during your turn, you may discard 2 heroic traits to heal 1 wound from yourself or a superhero in your zone. Definitely not. Or the zombie version. Discard 2 zombie traits to heal any amount of wounds from yourself or a zombie hero in your zone. Oh, that's a little bit different. Hero, it's 1 wound. Zombies, you can heal any number of wounds. So she's a little bit more powerful in the zombie version. But that's pretty cool, right? That's neat. Alright, so then we also have, up next, we have Dum Dum Dozen to go with our trio, or a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, because we have Nick Fury and Maria Hill. There's a little Dum Dum with his big old mustache. His boy's got a shotgun. Kind of fun because then you can, like, if you get enough, if they make enough of these different characters like him, you have him, it's like Nick Fury, Maria Hill, you have Agent Coulson. You can start making a map that just has, like, hey, we're fighting against S.H.I.E.L.D. and, like, here's just S.H.I.E.L.D. bystanders. So getting more of these different kinds is kind of fun like that. So in the hero version, each time you power up, 1 other superhero within range gains 1 power. In zombie, each time you devour an enemy or bystander, 1 other zombie hero within 1 range may decrease their hunger by 1. So it kind of works the same, being like power goes up or hunger goes down are about the same idea. But definitely the difference in how they trigger is because with heroes, it's just every time you power up, you're helping somebody else. So that's a lot easier to do. That's just a quick action. But the zombie, you have to devour somebody. So that's a dice roll. So that's kind of cool. I mean, although I think you buy bystanders for free, I believe. Might not be able to, but even still, that's pretty crazy. Alright. We are going to get Foggy Nelson next. This is, of course, Matt Murdock's business and law partner. So you're getting street level with Daredevil. And he's just carrying a bunch of his briefcases and everything. Legal files. Just spilling out everywhere. So this will work great when you're doing your Daredevil and Elektra versus Zombie Kingpin and Bullseye match. So Foggy has, when you rescue him, draw 1 heroic trait. Each time you suffer a wound, you may draw a heroic trait. And then the first thing, when you devour him, you gain a zombie trait. Each time you suffer a wound, you gain a zombie trait. Pretty cool. So kind of like researching theory, like, you know, knowledge. Kind of makes sense, I guess. Alright, then we have Happy Hogan, who I believe was also in the Hero Resistance box. So he kind of like was sort of neat because he came out like way before everybody else. I don't have his card with me. Maybe later on I'll grab the card out. But yeah, so he can go with our Iron Man stuff and Pepper Potts. And there he is. He's holding an Iron Man helmet. Or yeah, you could, if you want to recreate some of the MCU stuff, have him hang out with Aunt May. I even like the base there, it's pretty cool. Alright, so let's happy do for us. When performing a ranged attack, you may spend 1 power to gain +1 range. Or increase your hunger to gain 1 range. That's pretty fantastic, honestly. Just be able to automatically gain 1 range. Since most range attacks in this game are 1 space, they don't have a lot of like the 2s. A couple characters have 2s. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any character that just naturally has a range of 3. And this is again one big difference from the typical zombie side, because you pick up, you get like your early on guns only have a range of 1 or so, but then you can start getting the better ones as you go along, which can definitely make your ranged characters more important. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of Spider-Man, we have Harry Osborn. So there's a conflict. Does living Spider-Man save his best friend Harry, or does zombie Green Goblin eat him? Alright, so this is like just a fairly generic one, nothing too much. That's the only downside about some of these bystanders. I get that they're just regular characters, but there's sometimes not enough iconic about them. Like, obviously, you start painting them, somewhat make a little difference, but like, if you threw him and just go a random group of like, you painted him, then you threw him into a random group of other miniature characters, I don't know how you'd be able to tell for sure he was Harry. Would have been neat if even if like some of them, like he had like on his base was like a pumpkin bomb or a spider mask, just to kind of like link him into like that's who he was. You know, like some of these other characters like that too. You just look at him like, how am I supposed to know who this is? Alright. Each time you use a hero trait, 1 other superhero thing, 2 range gains 1 power. Or each time you use a zombie trait, 1 other hero thing, 2 range, may increase or decrease their hunger by 1. I always like the hunger when they give you the option, because there are some characters that want to have a higher or lower hunger rating. So the fact is, it's not just always like, gaining power is just, I need more power to spend it. You know, like a hunger, it plays both directions. It's nice that they give you the option instead of always forcing it. Alright. We have another agent here. We have Agent Jimmy Woo. Should be another good shield agent for you. Also, you know, he was from WandaVision, where it's a big part he was known for. Is an Ant-Man. Like Jimmy Woo. Let's grab his card. If we didn't grab his card so we can see what he actually looks like. There we go. During your turn, you may spend 1 power to discard this card and search the hero deck for any card, then shuffle the deck. Or you may increase your hunger and discard this card to search for any trait. Cool. Just, you know, shield agent Jimmy Woo here knows exactly what you need and where to get it. Alright. Then we have some more Daredevil characters, which is pretty cool. We have Karen Page, everyone's favorite Daredevil girlfriend. I just say favorite. Does he have, other than Elektra, has he had another girlfriend? I feel like she kind of suffers the same thing of Harry there. If I just painted her and just had her sticking around, she just looked like a regular girl. There's nothing like standing out about her. Again, you could have thrown like a baton or something, Daredevil mask or something on there just to help people like, oh, that's who that is. Alright, she has during your turn, discard this card to gain any discarded heroic trait. Oh, that's kind of fun. Just or the one for the zombie trait. Yeah, this could work out very well. But it's kind of neat with like her and Jimmy, where you get to use like some of these characters, you discard them instead of just always hanging on, so that way you can try and find another one. That's pretty fun as well. Alright, our last bystander, also Daredevil related, a very surprising one to me, was Vanessa Fisk. This is, of course, Kingpin's wife. I didn't honestly expect... At one hand, I want to say I didn't ever expect to see her in here, because I think most people, unless you're a big Daredevil fan, wouldn't even know who she is. I mean, obviously, you see her name is Fisk, you know that she's related to Wilson Fisk. But then if you're not a Daredevil fan, you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's a character I think of. But I think the reason she's also in here is because in one of the Marvel Zombies books, I don't remember which one off the top of my head, I believe it was the one with Machine Man. So I think it was 4. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think it was 4. I know it was one with Machine Man in Jocasta, which is surprising that neither of them made it into this game at all. They went to the Marvel Zombie universe from the regular universe. They're trying to find a way to like cure the zombie virus that broke out in the regular universe. Morbius was in on it and stuff. That's why he was also in this set, I think, a big reason. But yeah, they found out that she was one of the last living humans. Like, Kingpin, retained enough of his mental faculty to send people out to go, his troopers to go to other towns and stuff, other zombie characters, I don't remember who it was, some, B villains and stuff were going out and getting dog food or whatever they could, basically to keep her alive. Because he was like, even though I'm a zombie and my whole thing is about killing everybody else, turning things into a zombie or eating people, he wasn't going to do that to his wife, and he protected his wife. Until finally, later in the issue, he got super hungry from expending a bunch of energy and did end up eating her, I believe. Alright, so you do not lose power or heroic traits when other bystanders are devoured. Once per game, during your turn, gain 4 power. Or, when you devour her, do not reduce hunger. During your turn, you may discard this card to reduce hunger to 0. Interesting. So, the hero one is a little bit more powerful, as long as you have you don't have to worry about other characters getting eaten, which shouldn't happen anyhow, but at least it's kind of nice. That's cool. Alright, so we're going ahead and we're going to jump in to the characters. Into some of the heroes. Alright, so we're going to pull these off for not for a moment, for permanent. Alright, let's put our first hero up as long as we're talking about Daredevil. So I kind of tried to put these in somewhat theme characters in a row, but not going to always be 100%. We have this cool Daredevil sculpt. We did have the neat other one from the Guest Starters pack. We can go check that out as well. He's got the Nelson and Murdoch lawyer sign there. That's a really neat pose for him. Alright, so what does good old Hornhead bring to us? I need to back this out a little bit. I bet I do. These cards are a little bit bigger. Alright. And focus. Alright, so he has Baton Rush. His blue ability is Beat Down. When attacking with Baton Rush, for each roll of 6, roll +1 die. These dice may generate additional dice. So cool. Just to keep wailing on you. Baton Grapple. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to choose a zone within range 1 and move into that zone, ignoring enemies, or move 1 game piece from that zone to your zone. Cool. So either a zip line maneuver or a pull maneuver. which is cool because you can pull a bystander, you could pull another hero back towards you, pull them out of danger. You could pull just one zombie, like, hey, I just want to deal with that runner that's coming up. Let me pull him forward into my zone so I can take him out without having to get in the thick of everything else, right? That's kind of neat. And then Man Without Fear. When enemies spawn within 2 range, you may perform 1 free attack or move action. If a rush card was drawn, you can perform this action before or after the card is resolved. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you could actually jump out before a rush. Kind of gives him like his enhanced senses as well. This kind of helps him would be kind of neat. He can kind of stick near the spawn point. And as enemies spawn, he could get free attacks in. Beat down would definitely help with that as well. But then you can also pull some guys towards them. And then if they get too many, you can just go ahead and start running away. Alright, if you're facing Daredevil, it says after a bystander is devoured, Daredevil immediately performs 2 actions. So yeah, if he can't rescue someone, he's going to go into a little bit of a frenzy. Interesting, cool. Alright, up next, to go with Daredevil, we have good old Elektra. Hanging out next to possibly a bonsai tree. You just kind of just like leaning up against it. It's got a dual size out. That is neat. That's cool. Alright. And then if we put our cards back up, what does Elektra do for us? Elektra has dual size. Hey, I was even right on the name of it. Dual size and critical strike. When attacking the dual size, each roll of 6 deals 2 hits to a single enemy. Oh, kind of neat. This is kind of a comparison with Daredevil. Getting 6s does extra stuff. Assassin's Instinct. You ignore target priority and do not spend extra action when leaving zones with enemies. Each time you eliminate a zombie hero, you may perform 1 free move action. Cool. So yeah, if you have to target a zombie hero, you get free actions. But the fact that you can ignore priority and move means you can kind of like run in there, take out who you want, and then leave. So that kind of gives her some options on who she specifically wants to take out. And then hand-to-hand expert. You may reroll any misses. Once during your turn, you may perform 1 free dual side. Nice. So all your misses can then turn into rerolls, potentially trying to get them 6s to get some extra hits. I can definitely see her teaming up well with Daredevil, just by looking at his thing, where, again, he can, like, pull guys in, or move around and stuff. They're kind of teaming up. They could get in next to that spawn point and be doing extra. Because she can spawn and she can just run out of the way if she needs to. They spawn, they move 1 space towards her. She can run out of the way. He can pull runners out of the way so that they can't target her. So yeah, they could kind of team up very well. Alright, if you're fighting up against her, you're going to get, whenever an extra activation is drawn, all zombie heroes within 2 range suffer 1 wound. Nice. So whenever extra activations, she gets to attack again. Essentially. She gets like a free attack. Cool. Alright. So what would Daredevil and Elektra be without Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin? That's it. So Daredevil is Matt Murdock, of course, and Elektra Nachios. I like to say who they are. Yeah, big old Kingpin here. I have to buy a second one so I can paint them as Michael Clark Duncan, right? So I can have both, so I can have the movie versions. Let's see what he does. Now that'd be cool, like, and I know they're not gonna do this, but it'd be cool if they had stuff that ever like specifically referenced to bystanders. Like, oh, like he works really well, like, with his wife. King and Fist, yeah, he's just gonna be. So I love his base there. So it's harder to tell on the actual miniature. But yeah, he does. I just want to say, but he does have like Daredevil's mask here, Spider-Man's mask. It's also fun because that's the thing people forget about is Kingpin is also a big Spider-Man enemy, and you've seen that if you played any of the recent Spider-Man games. But he's dealt with him a lot too because he's the mob boss, like the Kingpin of the mob, essentially. I know it's not the exact thing, but yeah, so he's a big street level guy. The boss. Once during your turn, you may have one other superhero within 2 range perform one free attack action. You gain 1 XP for each enemy this eliminates, then resume your turn. That's pretty fun. There's a lot of command abilities in this game that, hey, take a free action, do this. This is kind of fun because he's not just saying take an free action, he's saying attack that guy for me. And then you also gain XP for that. So he's basically like, hey, I'm going to level up with you. That's pretty cool. Out of my way. Once during your turn, you may move all enemies in your zone into an adjacent zone, and then perform 1 free move action. Cool. Push everybody, then run. That's kind of fun. And then Criminal Mastermind. Once during your turn, you may have both yourself and another superhero within 2 range gain 1 power and draw 1 heroic trait. Just setting stuff up, planning things. Very, very Kingpin. If you're fighting against him, he is the last in target priority. Spawn 2 guards with him. Yes, I love that. Guards within range of 1 have +1 toughness. That's even cooler. I love when they get to spawn extra guys. It kind of makes them it's a little bit different. Theirs just does an extra attack or something. That's definitely neat. You can see some extra things here. Like at times he's employed Elektra as an assassin. Giving her extra power or extra traits could be very helpful for her. Or having to be the boss. But even again, out of my way, like I said, if you had Daredevil and Elektra like right up in the thick of it, next to the spawn points, deal with them, and you could have Kingpin just shove everybody out of the way, right? And then move away too. So if they're all piling on one spot where everybody is, he could just be like, nope, everyone get out of here. Go this way. Just push all them guys to different area. Or push them back. So that's pretty cool. Alright, we got one other Daredevil adjacent character, or straight up Daredevil adjacent characters. Of course, would be Bullseye. I don't remember his full name. It's Lester something. But yeah, I personally don't like this Bullseye costume. I don't know if this is just the artwork the particular artist chose, or if it was, from like the comic book. He does have a sigh down there, or maybe a baton on his base. But yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of this costume. Like, the art's fine. I don't have a problem with the art in and of itself. I just didn't like the costume that much. What's really fun here, though, is because now we have Daredevil, Elektra, Kingpin, and Bullseye. So if you're playing a 4-player game, you could have all 4 of these guys. Like, zombies are attacking the zombie Avengers. We have to team up. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't like he has like some knee pads, I get the pockets and stuff, but he has like these bands on his chest. You can't really see them on this picture. But then like the wrist showing on the gloves. If his arms went all the way to his costume went all the way to the gloves, I would be fine with that. But they kind of make it more modern-y looking. But it's everyone's art style. So we have throwing knives with a range of 1, and I never miss. Ignore target priority when attacking with throwing knives. After rolling, you may spend 1 power to reroll any misses. So again, works very well with these other guys. He usually takes out kind of like Elektra, but if Kingpin's also powering guys up or giving free attacks, this could be very helpful. Anything is a weapon. During your turn, you may discard a heroic trait to perform a free attack action with +1 range. This can be done multiple times. Cool. So again, more actions is never bad. And then Deadly Marksman. Enemies suffer -1 toughness against your attacks. Throwing knives gains +2 range and doesn't require line of sight. Be able to go around corners but not through walls. I'm sorry, they just broke Bullseye in this last one. So now its enemies are down to 1 toughness. So that means brutes only cost 1 to take out. He has, at starting, he has 3 range, and he can throw around corners or through a doorway into like the left or right spot past the doorway where he wouldn't be able to see from outside the door. That's pretty fun. So he could like kind of stand. So like if you get him up in the red, he could be hiding like in a door in a building or something, and then throw stuff around corners. That's pretty fun. You know, that's really neat. Plus, then you can also do as anything as a weapon. Yeah, because I give it extra range, you can have 4 range. That's pretty sweet. Alright, if you're fighting against him, oh boy. His attacks have unlimited range, but still require line of sight. Alright, that's still crazy though, right? He can literally just sit across the map and chuck playing cards at you, or throwing knives, rather. That is a fun villain to fight against. Alright, let's stick with some street level guys. We have good old Power Man here, Luke Cage. I wish I would have given him, like, his chain at the very least. I get he doesn't really use that anymore. Once you paint him, he's probably fine. But yeah, otherwise, he's just kind of like a generic guy. But yeah, we got Carl Lucas, which would be his regular name. Alright, what does good old Luke Cage do for us? Indomitable Fists. Melee attack. Of course he's a melee attacker. Why wouldn't he be? Tough as steel. Once during each enemy phase, you may ignore 1 wound you would receive. Definitely makes sense. Hard to bite through that steel skin. 0-4 higher. During their turn, other superheroes within 1 range may discard 1 hero trait to have you perform 1 free action. Then they resume their turn. That's a fun twist on that ability. Usually you have the commander ability. Somebody tells them, hey, you do this, and then I get to finish my turn. Instead, someone else can spend a card to have Luke Cage do an extra attack. That's a really neat idea. Ain't that tough. Enemies suffer -1 toughness against your indomitable fist attacks, and you may reroll any misses. Each time your hero for higher skill is used, you gain +1 power. Oh, so that's actually pretty cool too. So if someone keeps using that for you, you have a lot better chance of hitting. You can gain more power, so you can roll more dice. Plus you get reroll your misses. That's pretty cool. Yeah, just get him up in the thick punching stuff. That's what you want him to do. And then, yeah, I didn't take it out. Someone else can hire him quick to do an extra couple of punches. Or they could hire him to, like, open up the door that you're standing next to, or activate the item or the object you got next to. That's pretty cool. Alright. So, who would Luke Cage be without his current partner? Jessica Jones. Yeah, I believe we do have an Iron Fist in here somewhere, but he wasn't in this tray. So we'll get to him probably in the next video then. I like that she's doing this floating effect. So you don't usually think of Jessica Jones as having powers. You just series kind of like, oh, she's a reporter from Alias. But yeah, no, she actually was Jewel before that. And she has flight and super strength. And I believe a little bit of psionic powers, but I'm not for sure on that. But Now we just need Squirrel Girl in this set. So if they go year 2, give me Squirrel Girl to help watch their baby. Baby Danielle. So she has Mighty Punches. Knockout Punch. Oh, did we even look at what Luke Cage did? I'm going to cover her up for a sec. Devour attacks within range 1 suffer -1 to dice result. Devouring does not reduce hunger. -1 to dice results. That's crazy because it's already going to be hard enough to hit with one of those. That's cool. Alright. Okay, let's get back into Jessica. Knockout Punch. All enemies suffer -1 toughness against your mighty punches. Once during your turn, you may perform 1 free open door action. She's going to break open doors. This is, of course, her being an investigator, right? Breaks doors open to investigate. Flying Charge. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to move up to 2 zones, ignoring enemies, into a zone containing enemies. Then perform 1 free mighty punch attack. So, a blitz attack, basically. Spend 1 power to get a move home, jump in, and just attack people. And then they have -1 toughness, which is going to make her taking out brutes and superheroes much easier. And Psionic Protection. You cannot be affected by the abilities of zombie heroes. Each time you perform a power-up action, draw 1 free heroic trait. Alright, so the heroic trait part and the power-up, I don't think that's as much psionic as much as I want to say that's her alias training, her investigative reporting. So they did kind of at least play into that a little bit. Then her playing against this is after the first zombie hero ends their turn each round, she immediately performs 2 actions. Cool. So yeah, if you can avoid her, do it. Otherwise, she's going to come for you and put the beat down. Definitely interesting. Oh, whoops. I had our next character and I took her off my stand. Alright. So, one of her friends is, of course, Spider-Woman. If this wants to focus. Oh boy, why is her name slipping from my mind? I don't remember. Complete blank. But yeah, this is so kind of street level, kind of superhero. One-time Hydra agent, double crossing. And I completely am blanking on who she is at the moment. It'll come to me later, I guarantee it. My brain wants to keep saying Julia Carpenter, but that's the other Spider-Woman. That's not who this one is. Alright, but she has martial arts. It's a melee attack. We have Venom Blast. After attacking with martial arts, you may spend 1 power to move all enemies in your zone to an adjacent zone. Cool. So you punch them and you can kind of shoot them away. Pheromones. Once during your turn, you may select 1 zone within 1 range. All enemies in the zone immediately activate and attempt to move into your zone. Okay. So she attacks, spend a power to shove them into another zone. Then during your turn, you can pull them all back into your zone. That's kind of fun, right? Punch them, like bring them into your zone with pheromones, right? If they can get to you, beat up a bunch of them, but then like your last attack, hit or miss, spend 1 power to shove them all back away, right? And it's just hand-to-hand expert. You may reroll any dice when attacking with martial arts. Once during your turn, you may perform 1 free martial arts attack. Even better, right? Pull them in, free attack. Use your other 4 actions, your 3 regular ones, your yellow actions. You get 5 attack actions. And those spend your 1 power you earn during your turn to shove them all away. So 5 attacks and nothing's in your zone. Hopefully you've taken out enough characters. That's pretty crazy. Alright, Spider-Woman. She can attack from one zone away. Zombie heroes attacked by her must discard all their trait cards. If they don't or can't, they suffer one additional wound. Wow. Shutting down all of their traits. And plus she can attack a zone away, so yeah, you need to stay away from her. Definitely. Yeah, why can't I remember who she is? There's Julia Carpenter. There's Ariana. I don't remember every other Spider character, and then her name is just... It's blanking on me. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't affect gameplay. Let's keep moving. Up next, we have Shang-Chi. So, kind of street level, kind of supernatural. I don't know if he really hangs out with these characters as much. He has hung with the X-Men before. He probably got his inclusion in this set more so because of the movie. They're like, hey, we're trying to get character tie-ins. People would know who he is. Definitely a neat character. Master of martial arts. If you haven't, I don't generally recommend books for people. Like, hey, you have to read this. If you want some really good stories, though, I want to say it's like, what is it? Late 2000s? Like 2000, I want to say 2000, maybe 2012, 13. Could be wrong on the time. But they had the Second Secret Wars, which had a bunch of different books. Pick up some of them sub-books. There's some really good stories with Marvel Zombies is one of them. Actually, regular Marvel Zombies with Elsa Bloodstone. And then Marvel Zombies versus Age of Ultron, which is really fun as well. Has some cool alternate realities. But Shang-Chi has a book in there as well. She's a really good kind of like retelling of his story. I could definitely recommend checking it out. I think it's Master of the Martial Arts. Alright, so he has Iron Resolve. Enemies suffer -1 toughness against your martial arts attacks. During your turn, spend 3 power to heal 1 wound. Oh, a free heal. I mean, not free, you have to pay for it, but self-heal? Also has a big common theme with some of these street-level characters, is they have the -1 toughness. I think it's because they're more pinpointing accuracy on their attacks. Chi Manipulation. Once during your turn, you may discard 1 heroic trait from 1 free power-up action. Each time you eliminate a zombie hero, draw 1 heroic trait. Oh, neat. Then you can just spend those to get his power to heal every turn, even. So that's not bad. 10 Rings Empowerment. Each time you perform a power-up action, gain 1 power, and eliminate 1 walker, brute, or runner in your zone. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to perform 1 free action. Cool. So you have 2 different ways to gain extra power. By discarding traits to perform it, you get extra power that way. But then you can use it. Eliminate walkers, or perform a free action, or heal wounds. Definitely kind of a neat, interesting character. And then his play against is if his zone is attacked, but he is not eliminated, the attacker suffers 1 wound and ends their turn. He just cripples you for a turn. Very nice. Alright. Going kind of keeping with the supernatural, I guess, but also street levels, we have Blade. Good old Eric Brooks, our vampire Night Stalker. Just that's a neat pose too. Like he's kind of like he just landed there, or he's getting ready to like jump off of that. I wonder, vampire zombies, right? Is that possible? Is that a thing? It has to be a thing somewhere. Alright. He wields his katana. I wonder if his katana is called Blade. There's also a really good story of him. He has his own miniseries. I don't remember. I'm terrible with dates of comic books. But he had a miniseries where he had stuff where he had to talk to Doom and he had to travel back in time. He was figuring out it kept doing flashbacks to his past, explaining some of his origin and some interesting stuff. And the neat thing is he got his trench coat from Wolverine. He fought Wolverine way back in the day. Or Wolverine saved him, then Wolverine gave him his trench coat when he was like a kid. I don't know if that's still canon or not. It's the problem with comic books, but there's always a neat little idea. That's where his iconic coat came from. It's from Wolverine, just showing how long Wolverine's been around. Conviction. Each time you eliminate a brute or zombie hero, you may draw one heroic trait. Cool. So you use those. Daywalker. Each time a zombie hero spawns, you may perform one free attack or move action. Each time an extra activation is drawn, you may perform one move action before that activation. Okay, so he's going to get around and do some extra stuff. I like that each time a zombie hero spawns, it's not even like if he spawns near them. And then both of those are very specific, either zombie or extra action. They're not your common ones. So his Daywalker ability is going to be kind of a little bit hit or miss. Although he has regeneration. At the start of each end phase, your health is fully restored. So great. Just get in there and attack. Just don't die. So that kind of definitely makes up for his Daywalker not being like a constant or an activated effect. If you're playing against him, whenever a zombie hero has resolved an attack that makes them ravenous, Blade performs one action. Cool. So he's kind of like, hey, they might still have some control. I'll maybe be careful, but if they go ravenous, we're like, nope, they're mindless. He's like, they're done. I'm taking them out. That's fun. Alright. We have It's Morbin time with Morbius. Michael Morbius. So although we did have a vampire hunter, now we have the vampire, also Spider-Man ally / foe. I remember him more from the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s rather than most comics, but I checked. He did play a big part in one of the Marvel Zombie books with Machine Man, where it's actually his zombie version came over and kidnapped or took over the regular one because, well, the heroes were trying to solve the zombie problem. He was trying to figure out a way to bring everyone over. Vampiric Claws for his melee attack. Living Vampire. Each time you eliminate a brute with Vampiric Claws, you gain 1 power. Each time you eliminate a zombie hero with Vampiric Claws, gain 2 power. So it's kind of neat. So just to kind of go back to some of the older characters we went in this set. Daredevil, Elektra, those guys, they were in there doing damage, hitting stuff, but they were probably more often to be taking out your smaller guys. But a lot of them. But now you're getting like Blade and Morbius here, who are almost a little bit heavier hitters because they're targeting the bigger characters, which makes these guys work out. Mixing and matching these guys work very well. He has Transvection. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to perform 1 free move action, moving +2 additional zones and ignoring enemies. Cool. So you can kind of just jump through people. Plus, if he eliminates one of the other guys, he gains that extra 2, so you can take out one and then possibly move for free, getting away from them, or moving towards another one. Like you can take out a zombie hero, gain his 2 power, spend 1 to have free move action, and get closer to the next one to try and take them out too. And then he also has regeneration. Yeah, him and Blade, that's pretty cool. Giving him both regeneration, they just run around and be trying to take out the big dogs for everybody. If you are facing against him, you have performed +1 action for each wounded hero within 3 range when he activates. Great. So yeah, he senses your blood. He's gonna come for you. Well, as long as we're talking undead-ish people, let's jump into Moon Knight, Mark Spector. This is just definitely a neat, over-the-top sculpt. It's kind of funny because, like I said, you get something like this where he's up on this big fixture and that, and you got someone like Luke Cage, just looks like a guy kind of standing there. Like, so it's interesting why like some guys got like really cool sculpts and all this other stuff, and then some characters didn't. Alright, what does Moon Knight do for us? He has crescent darts for a ranged attack. He gets charging throw. Once during your turn, after completing a move action, you may spend 1 power to perform 1 free crescent darts attack targeting your zone. Moves, and then you just go free attack basically wherever he lands. So it kind of turns it into like a melee attack. It's kind of interesting. Multiple personalities. Once during your turn, you may roll a die. On a 1 to 3, draw a heroic trait. On a 4 to 5, perform 1 free power-up action. On 16, +1 die result, and +1 free attack action this turn. Interesting. Very random, but definitely interesting. And then Kanashu's Foresight. Once during each enemy phase, when a spawn card is drawn, you may draw 2 additional cards. Select one of them, shuffling those back in the deck. Neat. So you really get a select. In fact, you get 3 of them. Gives you some really good options on who you're going to fight against. I don't know if we have anyone in this set that has it, but I think we do at one point. But there's they used to have some tactical advantage or tactician in the original zombie side, where when the spawn cards came, you drew all the spawn cards and you picked which spot they spawned at. So you didn't get a discard them like this one. You still had to deal with all of them. But the fact that you could choose them, I kind of like that as a neat idea as well. And playing against Moon Knight, each player phase, the last zombie hero takes a turn, suffers 1 wound at the start of your turn. Just straight up hurt someone every turn. That's crazy. Everyone else, like, if you're near them or if you're in range of them, they'll do damage. He doesn't care. Awesome. Alright, we're going to drop these cards down. We're kind of getting over big. We have a supernatural character. We have Ghost Rider. Now, this definitely looks like the Johnny Blaze version because he has all the spikes on him. Not Johnny Blaze, Danny Tech's version. Johnny Blaze usually has more of like a biker outfit. I love the chains, all the spikes. Spikes are a little over the top on here. Trying to make him work, but he's got his chain, of course. I know people are like, well, he doesn't have his motorcycle. I'm actually glad he doesn't have his motorcycle or even part of it. I get that that's a big thing for the Ghost Rider, but they're not like they're constantly, it's the only thing they ever do is ride around on motorcycles. And again, with the different Ghost Riders, there's so many different ones to choose from. There's the big main 3, Johnny Blaze, Danny Tech, and my brain just Robbie Reyes. And I'm glad it's not Robbie. Nothing against him, but I would rather have one of the more classic Ghost Riders. If they make a second set and they want to add him in there and then add Johnny as well, maybe even Alejandra, or even like Penance would be really cool. Then you can have like a Ghost Rider team. That would be awesome. I would definitely be down for that. Alright, Mystic Chains. I wish I had one more range. That should be a 2 range. Supernatural durability. You have 3 health. Once during each round, you may ignore 1 wound you receive. Interesting. So, why would it say he has 3 health? Because he has ability to increase his health. The Penance Stairs. Set your health to 4. When this is unlocked, once during your turn, you may spend any amount of power to automatically deal that many hits to one enemy in your zone. Oh, cool. So when he goes up, his health goes up. And once you return, they spend any amount of power to automatic just free hits for whatever you are willing to spend. But just to one enemy. So again, you have but that can take out a big guy very easy. Kind of like, again, supernatural characters like to take out the bigger threats. They're not worried about the little tiny walkers. They're not worried about the runners. They're taking out the brutes and the heroes. And then supernatural stamina. Set your health to 5 when this is unlocked. Once during your turn, after you perform a power-up action, you perform 1 free attack and 1 free move. Awesome. This character's awesome. That's all I can say there. Alright. Then we have his, if you play against him, if he attacks a zombie hero with a bystander card, they suffer 2 wounds and discard the card. Yeah, he basically panic stares him and punishes him for having a bystander. Very cool. Alright, so we got one last character we're going to do in this. There's a couple other characters who are in this trade, but we're going to save them. This video is getting pretty long. So we're going to look at the Black Knight. Dane. Ooh, why am I not remembering his last name? Dane Whitman, the Black Knight. Alright, what does good old Black Knight do for us? He's got a shield on the ground too, it's pretty cool. Alright, he has the Ebony Blade, of course he does. The Cursed Blade. The Blade's Might. Enemies suffer -1 toughness against your Ebony Blade's attacks, and you may reroll any misses. The Blood Curse. You may perform 1 free Ebony Blade attack every turn. If you don't attack anyone with the first action of your turn, you suffer 1 wound. Each time you eliminate a zombie hero, heal 1 wound. So think about that for a second, right? He has to attack every turn with his free attack. And if he doesn't, you're going to take a wound. But if you can take out a zombie, heal him. Again, kind of mysticky character. But if you can take out these heroes, you can keep healing back up. And Blade Slash. Before attacking with Ebony Blade, you may spend 1 power to reroll 1 die for each enemy in your zone, ignoring zombie heroes for this attack. So the one does stuff with zombies, the other one turns around, and he gets extra dice so he can take out a lot of the small guys. Alright, yeah, so that's pretty cool. So depending on how you need to play as him. And then we have, if you are fighting against him, his attacks deal wounds equal to the highest danger level amongst them, 1 to 4. Oh boy, he can do 4 damage. That can take out zombies have 5 health. But yeah, that, you really have to take him out as soon as you can. That is pretty crazy. Alright, so that is what we're going to just about call it for this video. The last thing I did want to show up, I quickly went and found that Happy Hogan card, just so we could look at the difference in what he did. Also, Spider-Woman is Jessica Drew. Don't know why on earth I didn't remember that, but I didn't. Alright, so here is the Happy Hogan hero version from the Kickstarter. He's a combat hero, so he'll fight back and do that. Here's the version from the X-Men the Heroes Resistance retail box. So he loses that combat trait and says, once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to push all enemies in your zone to an adjacent zone. So it kind of like he has a handheld repulsor. And the other one's kind of, you could say the same thing, right? Maybe he's giving someone an extra blast or something. But that's kind of neat, though, that, like, the Hero Resistance box has alternative miniatures, alternative cards for all the characters, and some of the different, like him, I think he's the only other one that was different. I think everyone else is only in the set. But it's kind of neat. We even get like 1 different version of a bystander. So that's kind of neat. Just something a little bit different. Alright, that's what we have for part 1. Come back for part 2. We will go over a bunch more of the heroes. May end up doing this into more than 3 parts. This might end up being closer to 5, just so these videos don't run too terribly long. But we will definitely see how they go because there's a lot of stuff to go over. All right, see you guys later. Bye.